Hello, this is Jessie Rayott of Jessie at Home, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make square one for the snowflake throw from redheart.com. I am the designer of the snowflake throw from redheart.com. I am using the yarn and the hook that's called for in the pattern. So if you look at that pattern, you can find all the information you need. The pattern is linked in the text that goes along with this video. Okay, and it's also, of course, on redheart.com. For square number 1, we're going to start off with a chain 4 and join those with a slip stitch. So let's go ahead and get that going. And the part that I am doing in this white is always done in white. The color that changes is the other color, which today we're using this this pink color here. So we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, join with a slip stitch to form a ring. Okay, now for round 1, we chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 11 double crochet into the ring. Now when I do that, I work over top of this starting tail, the tail from the beginning of my yarn. That way I've started to weave it in already, and also I can pull it tight later to close the hole in the center of the square if I don't want a big hole in the center of the square. So 11 double crochets. 1, 2, 11. We've done our 11 double crochet, and now we're going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. So grab the top of your chain 3, slip stitch into that, and that forms our ring, okay? Or that forms our first round. And you can count the stitches if you would like. The chain 3 counted as your first double crochet, and then we put 11 more double crochet into the ring, and there should be 12 stitches. Okay, and like I said, because I worked over top of this tail, I could now pull the tail and it tightens up the hole in the center if that's something I want to do, like when I'm weaving in my ends and everything. Right? So now to finish round 1, we're actually going to pull this loop kind of long so that it doesn't get, none of our work gets pulled out when we start the next round in the next color. And we leave the white loops always get left in the front of the work. Now to start round 2, you need your next color. Okay, we're going to refer to it as our second color, and we are going to put a slip stitch on. So we get a loop on there, not a slip stitch, sorry, a slip knot. For round 2, which is the bottom layer, is what they call that, we're going to join our second color of our yarn with a slip stitch in the next stitch. So here is where we joined. We're going to put our hook into the next stitch and just make a slip stitch. And that's how we're going to attach this color. Now we are going to chain 3 and place 2 double crochet into that same stitch. Now we are going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and 3 double crochet into the next stitch 5 times. So that's chain 1, skip a stitch, 3 double crochet into the next stitch. And again, chain 1, skip a stitch, 3 double crochet into the next stitch. So this is the second time we've done that. Okay, so now we've done it twice. We need to do that 5 times. We've completed that 5th chain 1, skip 1, 3 double crochet into the next stitch, and now we have to do a last chain 1, and we have to join to the top of the beginning chain 3. Now here's a point where I think some people might be getting confused. It does clearly state to keep the loop from color A in the front of your work. When you make this join, before you do that, you also need to make sure that the tail of color A is in front of your work. Otherwise, you're going to run into a little snag when you start to work the next round using color A again. So we've made this last chain one, and now we're going to slip stitch to the top of our first, to the top of our beginning chain 3. Okay, and we're going to pull this loop long. If you want to, you can place a stitch marker or stitch holder onto this so that it all stays together, and you don't have to worry about accidentally yanking on this color while you're working with the white again and unraveling things. You could always place a stitch marker here just for safety's sake, because the next round we are going to work in the white again. Round 3, we are going to return our hook into the color A. Okay, here we go, and get that tightened back up again. And we are going to work in the front of our piece. And from this point forward, everything worked in the white in color A will be worked into color A stitches. Everything worked in color B will be worked into color B stitches. Okay, so at this point, that's where we are in the pattern. So that little piece of knowledge should also help you assure that you're not putting things in the wrong places. We are now going to chain 4, which is going to count as a double crochet and a chain 1. 3, 4. And we are going to double crochet into the same stitch that we joined into. Now we are at the repeat part, which is a chain 2, 1, 2, and then a double crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet into the next skipped stitch. So the stitch was worked into, we're going into the next skipped stitch, and we're just in front of everything, we're placing a double crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet. And repeat, chain 2, into the next skipped stitch, we're placing a double crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet, and we're going to keep going around. Okay, we've worked those chain 2s and then the double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the skipped stitch all the way around, and now we have to chain 2 more. And we're going to slip stitch into the third chain of the beginning chain. Remember, we started off with chain 4, so we're working into the third chain. We are placing just a slip stitch to join that round, and you can clearly see that the white now is sitting in front of the color. And again, we're going to drop our stitch and keep it in front of the yarn, and along with keeping this loop, we dropped the loop, we pulled it long, and it's staying in front of the square. Along with keeping the loop in the front of the square, you also want to keep the tail in the front of the square. Okay, all of the white yarn should stay in the front of the square. All of the colored yarn should stay in the back of the square. Okay, all of yarn A in the front, all of yarn B in the back. Okay, now this is where things start to get a little bit more involved. We are going to place color B back onto our hook. So our second color back onto our hook. And we are going to chain 3. Now, working over top of color A, we are going to place 2 double crochet into the next stitch. So you can see, here's our next stitch. We joined here. Here's our next stitch. We're going to place 2 double crochet into that stitch, but we're going to do that working over this chain space here. Okay, so we're going to go over this chain space, which means you're just going to kind of start your double crochet, and when you go into this stitch, instead of just going straight into the stitch, you're going to catch that loop, the chain space. And we're going to place 2 double crochet. 1, 2. Now working behind color A, we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. Then we're going to chain 2. And still working behind, we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. Okay, and then we're going to repeat this little section a total of 5 times. So that was 1. So now again, 2 double crochet into the next stitch, but working over top of color A. Let me get a little more yarn. Sorry, I forgot to pull out extra yarn before I started that round. Okay, and now another double crochet in the next stitch behind color A. A chain 2 and double crochet into the next stitch behind color A. Let's repeat that again. 2 double crochet into the next stitch, but working over color A. So catch that chain loop, chain space, and go into the next stitch and make 2 double crochet just like that. That was 1. There's 2. Now double crochet into the next stitch working behind color A. Chain 2, double crochet in the next working behind, and keep going around. We finished the repeats, so now we're going to do 2 double crochet working over top of the chain A space, over top of the A chain space. Okay, so again, over that and into the next, keeping that loop in front, into the next stitch, working 2 double crochet. And then working behind that, place 1 more double crochet in that last stitch there. Chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain. Okay, and again, color B, you're going to pull it long, or the second color, you pull it long, drop it behind, and now you're leaving the loop and the tail of their second color behind your work, so you can go ahead and go back to your first color to begin the next round. So now for our next round, we're going to put our hook back into our color A, and we are going to we are going to slip stitch into this chain 1 space. You see this little chain 1 space? Okay, we need to slip stitch into that space, but there is a loop, a chain 1 space behind it. You see that from color A? From our second color. We actually want to catch this. As we're working into, we're going to be working these stitches into the chain 1 spaces of color A, and while we're working into the chain 1 spaces of color A, we're also going to be catching these chain spaces behind them from our second color. So first, we are going to slip stitch into this space. And see how I'm catching both sets of colors here? I'm catching both colors. We're slip stitching into that chain 1 space, just to get ourselves in the right spot. And then we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, which is counting as our first double crochet and our chain 1. And then we're going to double crochet into that space again through both colors. And that is our little stitch that goes there. Now we are chaining 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the part that we're going to repeat 5 times. So we chain 4, and then we're going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into this chain 1 space, catching the space behind it from the other color, catching the chain space behind it from the other color. So as you can see, what I do is I kind of pull this top loop to the back, and I almost kind of put my finger through these two little spaces. I don't actually put my finger all the way through, but I just kind of pinch underneath there so that I can see both chain spaces that I'm working over top. I'm just working kind of in that little hole right there that you can put your finger through, and you can see both colors on top. That is the space that I'm working all of these stitches into. Okay, I've lost my yarn. There we go. So we're doing a double crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet, and then chaining 4 again. And next space, both colors, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and you keep doing that all the way around. Okay, we've repeated that section 5 times, done that section 5 times, and now we're going to chain 4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to slip stitch to the 3rd chain of our beginning chain 4. Okay, remember our chain 4 counted as a double crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet, so we're only slip stitching to the 3rd one, so we still have that chain 1 free. Okay, and there's the end of that round, and pull that loop long and put the loop and the tail from color A in the front. Now we're going to pick up the loop from our 2nd color again. Pick up the loop from our 2nd color and chain 3. And now we're going to place 2 double crochet into each of the next 2 double crochet, but we're going to do that working over top of color A. All right, so we're going to go over top of this chain space from color A, and we're going to go into the next. See, this is the stitch we slip stitched into. This is the next stitch. Over top of color A into the next stitch, place 2 double crochet, and then place 2 double crochet into the next one as well, still working over top of color A. And now working behind color A, double crochet into the next stitch. Now chain 2, and again working behind color A, double crochet into the next stitch. Okay, and then you're going to repeat this section. You're going to do this section a total of 5 times. You've done it once now. We are going to, again, over top of color A, 2 double crochet into the next stitch. 1, 2, and 2 double crochet into the next one. 1, 2, and then double crochet into the next stitch. Then chain 2, double crochet into the next stitch. So that's the 2nd time we've repeated those stitches. And we're going to go all the way around. Okay, we've just completed doing that 5 times, and now we need to finish up by working 2 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, working over top of color A. Okay, basically, the same thing we've been doing all the way around. And then a double crochet into the next stitch, but this time working behind color A. Then a chain 2, and then slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain 3. And as usual, pull this long and hang color 2 loop and tail into the back of the work. so that you can pick up color A from the front. Okay, now for this round, we're picking up color A again, tightening things up. And this round is worked pretty much the same way as the previous round of color A, only instead of having chain 4 in here, we're going to have chain 6. So again, what you're going to do is slip stitch into this chain 1 space, catching the color, the second color chain as well. So we're catching that second color chain, slip stitch. Okay, and now chain 4, which counts as our first double crochet and our chain 1, double crochet, and now this is where our repeat 5 times section starts. This will be time number 1. We're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to place the double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into this chain 1 space, but catching the color 2 chain space as well. Okay, so we're going through both chain spaces, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 6, and doing that again. Here's our both chain spaces, pushing this top part to the back because we're not at that level yet, grabbing both of these chain spaces and placing a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Keep going. So we've done that step 5 times, and now we are going to chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to slip stitch to the third chain of the beginning chain 4. I can find a little space, there we go, and pull our loop nice and long and place the loop and the tail of color A in front so that we are ready for the next round. Okay, we are going to place color, our second color, onto the hook again, and we are going to chain 3. Now, working over the chain A space, we're going to double crochet into each of the next 4 double crochet. Okay, this is where our repeat or do this 5 times section starts. So we're going to work over the chain space and double crochet into each of the next 4 double crochet. So this is the stitch that we joined into, so here's the next one. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to work behind color A and place a double crochet into the last stitch. Now chain 5. And working behind color A again, double crochet into the next stitch. Now we're repeating this. This is our repeat section. We do this 5 times. That was once. So again, we're going to double crochet into each of the next 4 double crochet, working over top of color A. So there's color A. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then double crochet in the next stitch, working behind color A. Then chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And double crochet into the next double crochet. Okay, and that's the second time we did that. We're going to do that all the way around. We're going to do that 5 times total. Okay, we've done that section 5 times, and now we just need to finish up this round by placing 4 more double crochet. So 1 more double crochet in each of the next 4 double crochet, working over top of color A. Basically the same thing that we had been doing. This is just finishing up the round. That's 3, and that's 4. And then 1 more double crochet, but this time behind color A. And then chain 5 again. And slip stitch into the top of our beginning chain. And you notice that before this had kind of fallen back here. Before you do that slip stitch to join, you always want to make sure that not only is your loop in the front, but your tail's in the front. The tail is actually really the most important thing, because if the loop's in the back and you shut it and you close it, you know, if you actually do your little slip stitch to join with this loop in the back, you can pull it through. But if you do that with the tail in the back by mistake, with the tail in the wrong direction, you can't pull it through, and you have to undo that in order to get the tail into the front of your work. So it's very important you get that tail in the front of your work as well. And we slip stitched, and now, as always, we're going to pull this long. And since this is color 2, everything hangs in the back of the work. Okay, now we are starting our last round with color A. Okay, so this is worked in a similar manner as the previous 2 rounds of color A, but not exactly the same. We are going to slip stitch into this chain 1 space, catching the color B space at the same time. And now we're going to chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet, and then we're going to double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochet into that same space. Double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochet into the same space. Now here is our work this section 5 times part. We are going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we are going to 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet into the next chain 1 space, catching the chain space of color 2 that's behind it. So again, make sure that this chain space that's up high is just back and out of your way. You're catching the chain 1 space of color A and the chain 1 space that's right behind it. Double crochet 2, 1, 2, chain 1, and then double crochet 2 more. 1, 2. Okay, so we're doing this part a total of 5 times. That was 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going all the way over to the next chain 1 space and doing 2 double crochet, catching both of those chain spaces. Chain 1, 2 double crochet. And keep on going around. We've repeated that part so that there are a total of 5. We've done this little section 5 times now. Now we're finishing up the round with a chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain 3. As usual, I have issues slip stitching to the top of a beginning chain 3. Okay, and now that is the end of color A. So leave yourself a good sized tail so that you can be sure to weave it in whatever manner you weave in later. So round 10, you're going to return your hook into your second color, and now you're going to be working over top of the chain A space, of the color H space. You see this chain that's from color A? You're going to be working over top of that, and you're going to slip stitch into the same stitch that you joined into. Now if you just tried to place a slip stitch into the same stitch just like this, it wouldn't really work because you just stitched into there. But because what we're doing is we're actually catching underneath, okay, just like before, we're catching this loop, and now you're going to go back into the same exact stitch that you joined into, and you're placing a slip stitch. It will seem a little bit weird, but don't worry. That's all that you're doing. You're just joining the chain space in color A, getting everything caught together. And now you're going to chain 3. And you're going to treble into the next stitch. 1, 2. You wrap over twice when you make a treble. And we're going to treble into the next stitch, still catching color A. And now 2 treble into the next stitch. Okay, so into the next stitch we're doing 1 and 2. Oopsie, 2. Okay, and then now we're going to chain 2 and 2 treble into the next stitch, and this is going to be our corner. Our chain 2 is our corner. 2 treble into the next stitch. And treble into the next stitch, just a single one, well, just a treble crochet, but just 1 treble crochet into the next stitch. Sorry, that probably confused you. Now we are going to double crochet into the next stitch, the next double crochet. This is where we actually go back into working one color into a different color. Up until this point, in this very first round, we did in just the first color, and then the second round worked the second color into the first color, and then all of these following rounds, color A has been worked into color A, and the second color has been worked into the second color. They've been worked over each other, but never into the other color. This is where we break that rule now. This is because we're actually joining everything together, okay? I wrote the pattern and I still have to look at it and follow along because you're turning something with 6 sides into something with 4 sides. And you have to really kind of follow along. I know it's a very long round, but just follow it along and trust the pattern. And as long as you're following and placing the stitches that the pattern calls for, you will be okay. You will be fine. So working into the A stitches, we're going to double crochet into the next double crochet. We are then going to half double crochet into the next double crochet. We are then going to half double crochet into the next chain 1 space. Single crochet into the next 2 double crochets. Single. And all this time that we're doing this, we're also catching the second color. We're working into color A and over top of the second color. Okay, so there's our 2 single crochets. And now we're going back to working over color A and into our second color. We are going to single crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we just single crocheted into the next 3 double crochet. We're going to half double crochet into the next 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. You will start to see a pattern here. And then we are going to double crochet into the next double crochet And we're back to working into color A and over top of our second color. Okay, we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. We are going to treble into the next double crochet. Oops, pulled it through too many there. Okay, treble into the next double crochet. And now we're going to make our corner into this corner essentially. We are going to work 2 treble, chain 2, 2 treble into this chain 1 space and over top of the space of the chain space behind it. So 2 trebles, 1, that was almost a double, 2, chain 2, and then 2 more trebles, 1, 2, treble into the next stitch, oops, treble into the next double crochet, I almost missed it, okay, treble into the next double crochet, and then double crochet into the next double crochet. And now again, we've gone back to working over top of color A and into our second color. We are going to double crochet into the next double crochet, half double crochet into each of the next 2 double crochets, single crochet into the next 3 double crochet, single crochet into the next 3 double crochet. That's 1, 2, and 3. Now we are going to single crochet into the next 2 double crochet of color A, working over the chain space from our second color. Half double crochet into the chain 1 space, and half double crochet into the next double crochet, and then double crochet into the next double crochet. Now you're working over the chain A space again and into over the color A chain space again and into your second color. You're going to double crochet into the next double crochet. And in the pattern it has you repeating from the single star to the double star around. So that is where we're going to place 1 treble into the next double crochet, 2 trebles into the next, keep wanting to make doubles instead of trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles into the next, and this is another corner, treble into the next stitch, in the next double crochet, double crochet into the next double crochet, and now we're going to be working into color A and over top of the chain space from our second color. We're going to double crochet into the next double crochet, and then half double crochet into the next double crochet, half double crochet into the chain space, single crochet into each of the next 2 double crochets. Now we're working into our second color and over top of our chain of our color A chain space. We are going to single crochet in each of the next 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, half double crochet into the next 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, double crochet into the next double crochet, 1, and then again working into color A and over top of our second color, we are going to double crochet into the next double crochet, treble into the next double crochet, and then place 2 trebles, chain 1, 2 trebles into this chain 1 corner, into this chain 1 space, 2 trebles, chain 1, I'm sorry, chain 2, and 2 trebles, treble crochet into the next stitch, into the next double crochet, and then double crochet in the next double crochet, and back to working over top of color A and into our second color. We are placing a double crochet into the next double crochet, half double crochet into each of the next 2 doubles, single into each of the next 3 doubles, 1, 2, and 3. Back to working in color A over top of color B. I think when I did made the sample that you can see on Red Heart, I actually had woven in this end before I started this round, but it's not a big deal. You're just going to single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and if you haven't woven in the end, just leave it back there so you can deal with it later. Okay, and then half double into this corner space here, half double into this chain 1 space, and then half double into the next double, and then double crochet into the next stitch. And then slip stitch to the top of your beginning chain to join your round. And that is round 10, which is just a whole lot of following along and taking your time so you can make sure you get it all correct. Okay, now we're ready to start round 11, but before we do that, we want to be sure that you had the right number of stitches on round 10. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to find your chain 2 spaces. Chain 2 space, chain 2 space, and just double check that there really are 19 stitches in between each chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Double check all the way around. Make sure there's 19 stitches in between every chain 2 space. Okay, because if there's not, your square isn't going to be square. And it's very, very easy to make a mistake on round 10. Like I said, I designed the square and I still have to follow along on round 10 because you're turning something with 6 sides into something with 4 sides, and it's really easy to make a mistake. Okay, so now once you've assured yourself that you really do have 19 stitches on each side with the chain 2s in each corner, you're ready to start round 11. And you are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to double crochet into each stitch to the next chain 2 corner. Okay, so double crochet into each stitch to the next chain 2 corner. Okay, here I am at the next chain 2 corner, and I'm going to 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in that corner. This is basically just a double crochet square at this point. And now we're going to continue in this fashion. We're going to double crochet into each stitch over here, which would be 19 of them. Okay, over to the next corner. Okay, so I double crocheted into each of the next 19 double crochet, and now I'm going to make my corner with 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet all into this corner space. There was 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. And now I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to double crochet all the way across. There should be 19 of them. 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet all the way across, corner, double crochet until I get back to the beginning. So now I've finished this last round by placing a double crochet in each double crochet, and then the double crochet, chain 2, I'm sorry, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in each corner, and repeat that all the way around till I get back to the beginning. And then we're just going to end the round by slip stitching to the top of our beginning chain 3. Okay, and that is the end of that color, okay, which we already finished color A. This is the end of our second color, and this completes our entire snowflake square. You can see it is much more square now. That last round really pulled it all together. It turned something that originally looked like a hexagon into something that looks like a circle, and it turned that circle into a square. So there you have that. I hope it has been helpful for you, and that should help you, like I said, complete square 1, sorry. And there's also now a video for square 2 as well. Thank you.